Good morning and good morrow to thee, my loyal subjects. My name is MiAh the King, and today we're taking a look at a game that came out earlier this morning on Steam called Immortal MiAh. As Steam calls it, the Immortal MiAh is a construction and management sim game where you play as a local deity that watches over the land, befriend other gods, and use magic to help your residents build the town, hereby earning the offerings of your people and growing your town. This game was developed by Star Chess Studio and published by Eureka Studio, and yes, this game is in early access. Because of course it is. I don't even remember when games would release fully finished anymore. It's like a distant dream of better times. Anyway, so for some of you older gamers out there, this idea probably sounds pretty similar to another couple of games, am I right? Black and White, anyone? Black and White 2, anyone? Those games where you play as a god and help direct your civilization to grow large and worship you. Now, if this is anything like those games, I'm going to be incredibly excited because those games were amazing and I've been waiting for someone to make games like that. Those games had charm and ingenuity and an amazingly unique idea and unique gameplay. This game, however, is a bit laid back on its whole god thing, but we'll get into that later. For now, let's do what we always do and get right into the largest good and bad points that I found while I was playing this game, alright? Okay, so first up, we're going to start with the negatives because those are what struck me first. Number one on the negatives. The game is not very stable. Now, once I'm in the game after a little while, it does run fairly smoothly from then on. However, the beginning, when you first get into the game, it does a very weird seizure-like function to your computer that scared the crap out of me. That was my very first interaction with the game. Not a good start. Trying to Alt-Tab out of the game also forces your computer to have a mini-seizure. At first I thought it was the resolution, some kind of problem there, so I tried to fix it, but that didn't really work, so it kind of makes me worried about the future stability of this game if it starts out like that. Now, this isn't huge because it is early access, and I do expect it to have some bugs and unfinished content, so it's not like I'm punishing it for that so much, but it is worrying that the game almost destroyed my computer upon launching. Number two, the tutorial. Yes, they kind of have one here, but remember in my last video praising the awesome tutorial and how well flushed out it was? And remember how I said there was a certain way to do it? Well, these people apparently didn't listen. They don't do it right. They don't really give you a tutorial. Instead, they drop you smack dab in the middle of gameplay, and then they just give you a nice big list of boring, random terms and statements and no direction at all. This means you have to navigate, explore, experiment, and basically fumble around for a while just trying to learn your bearings, which isn't even learning the game, it's just learning your way around. Then finally, after you learn your way around on your own, you can start to learn how to play the game, kinda. These are all things that a tutorial is supposed to do for you, but this game doesn't do that. No, it just throws random information at you and expects you to figure it out yourself. Which, in some games, it's fine. You know, the exploration and learning yourself can be, interesting and fun, but in an intricate micromanaging civilization game such as this, it is not a welcome sight. We need a little bit of direction here if you're going to add so much stuff, if you're going to have so much for us to look at and walk through and basically wade through, you got to give us some direction here. Okay, so that's why this is a negative. Number three, sound effects. Now, while the music is very much Asian in some way, shape, or form, I'm not sure what kind of Asian, so I apologize if I'm offending anybody, I don't mean to. Anyway, the point is, it's beautiful. There's nothing else here, though. In an experiment, I turned off the music and then scrolled in as far as I could because I thought maybe if you scroll in you'd get a bit of the ambient sound effects, so I could try to get some kind of other sounds, and, well, here's the result, you be the judge. See what I mean? Without the music, there are no sound effects. Now, sure, there are action sound effects for like when you're accessing the menu, and there's the sound of rain when it's raining, but besides those, it's pure silence. So, it's boring, and it's lacking in this detail that I just had to bring attention to it because, well, it's not immersive or fun at all. Without sound effects, your city doesn't feel alive or real, which makes it boring and makes you kind of not care. So, that's why I brought that up. Number four, the lack of godlike gameplay or godlike interests. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, let's compare it to Black and White, where it was a game where you played as a god who controlled a civilization very similar to this. Well, that was a game with a goal. You could control a civilization towards worshipping you as a deity, and you had an angel and a devil on your shoulder. Basically a paragon and renegade option for being a god. As a god, you had a temple and worshippers and even a magical beast that you could summon up, and you even had god's powers that you could use to immediately affect the world and do fun things with. It was really cool and intuitive. Here, well, the game says that you're a god, but in no way does it make you feel like you're a god. Not once. You might as well not be a god in this game. It might as well not be an aspect here. It serves no real purpose. I mean, sure, you get a kind of card drawing system for mystical powers that you can kind of use depending on the situation, but and they try to make it sound like, oh, you're a god, so you can do these things, but it doesn't make any sense. I'm a god. Gods create life out of nothing. Isn't that correct? I mean, gods destroy for no reason. They have that kind of power, and they kind of shoehorn in, oh, well, you're aspiring to be a real god. Right now, you're just kind of a mini god, which they don't go into further detail about that, so you're left totally in the dark, like, what is going on here? So, you know, there's that whole aspect. I mean, there is a temple, and there is even kind of like a monster thing, like there's monsters that exist, kind of, but how exactly does this game make me feel or seem like a god exactly? Honestly, it's barely a feature here, and seems like it was just slapped on to get some more attention. So if you're thinking, this could be like Black and White, or if you're possibly thinking, oh, I'd love a city builder where I'm a god and get to do godlike stuff, well, think again. This is not going to give you that experience. That's why I was drawn in. So, immediately off the back, a little disappointed by that. Number 5, the price. Now, I get a lot of flack back on my comments about price, but I have my reasoning behind it, which I'm not going to get into here. The price isn't that big of a deal, right? But I felt I should mention it regardless, because this is an unfinished game. It has no voice acting, barely any writing, barely any attention to detail, clearly missing a lot of content and a lot of key components. I mean, like, give me a reason to continue on, or give me some stability, you know, give me some content, give me some immersion. It doesn't have any of those things, and yet with all that missing in this basic, bare-bones city builder game, they want to charge me $20. They want to charge the exact same as other fully fleshed games in this genre that are far better and fully complete. If they were smart, they'd lower their price to $10, maybe $15, at least until it's finished, and then bump it up when it's got more stuff in there. But this game is not worth $20 at the current point in time. It's barely worth $15. I think it's maybe around $10. I think that because it doesn't have any voice acting or immersion. If it did, then I could understand the price tag. You know, you gotta pay for sound effects, you gotta pay for voice actors, you know, I get that, but it doesn't. I think that overall this game is just overreaching in a heck of a lot of ways, and it clearly shows in the price tag. I feel like they spent their money poorly, they ran out, and now they're charging an exuberant amount of money, try it for a game that has got nothing there, because they're desperate. That's my just thought. Now, I have no evidence to back that up, so it is just my opinion, not fact, but that's how it feels. And it shows in the game. When you play the game, there's just so many things missing. There's just so many things that you feel like should be there, and they're not there, especially when I'm going to pay $20 for it. So, okay, so while that may not be all the bad things about this game, they were the most glaring that I could think of to put pen to paper and inform all of you about. But now we're going to go into the positives about the game, alright? Also, if so far you've enjoyed my video or found it informative, I would greatly appreciate it if you could support my channel. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell, and then those will basically let you know when I put out more stuff. Or, you know, at the very least, leave me just a nice little comment, alright everybody? Each little bit helps. Thank you so much, and now back to the rest of this content. So up for the positives, number 1, the game is it's a very casual city builder game, and it does have a lot of potential. I'll talk about Banished a lot on my channel when it comes to city builders, and that's because I find it to be one of the perfect, best, casual, laid-back city builder games. Well, this game is a lot like Banished, but with more of an Asian spin on it. I love the idea, I just wish it had more attention to detail and a bit more content, especially the as a god stuff. That definitely needs to be tweaked more. Number 2, the music. While the music can be a bit overpowering at some points, overall it sounds great and thematic. It's beautiful, it's blaring, it's amazingly, and it's amazing, and it sets the tone almost perfectly. It just needs to tone it down a little bit in some parts, you know, but at least it fits the theme, right guys? Number 3, the game clearly has a unique and original idea here. Now, not as a city builder, but as an idea of kind of taking the whole being a god as the explanation for how you're controlling a city over thousands of years, you know what I mean? So it's kind of got that unique idea going for it, and it's kind of got its whole doing an Asian themed city builder thing going for it, including Asian, you know, decorations and, you know, just an overall theme like that. So it's kind of nice. So it does have its unique original idea. In other words, they know what it is that they're trying to do here. You know, they have a solid idea about how to go about it, and it does show promise for what they could hopefully one day achieve. So for the idea and the direction and what it could become, it looks promising, and therefore I gave it a positive point. And number 4, and the last positive, is even though its tutorial/tip system is kind of basic and boring and confusing and annoying, at least it is there to help you out, kinda. And the game is overall pretty easy to figure out as well, so it's not the worst thing ever, but it can be a bit annoying trying to fumble your way through things. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a positive, but basically the game is easy to figure out. That right there is the positive point. So, honestly, that's all I got for the positives that I could think of. Not a lot to brag about, I know. But just look, here are my final thoughts. I think that if you're interested in this game, great. I was too. But look at this video. Look, what you're seeing here is just what you're going to get. They are asking you to beta test their game. They are asking you for money to beta test their game. And they are asking you $20 to beta test their broken, unfinished game. Which normally when you beta test something, you can give feedback. And the developers will listen to you, and they will try, and they will hear the majority of comments, and they will say, hey, the majority of people here want this, we should add this and change this. But a lot of times they don't do that. So you're not even really a beta tester, you're just paying them for a broken game. An unfinished broken game. Is there a guarantee that it'll be finished? Nah, no, there's not. Is there a guarantee that you'll get your money's worth? No, there's not. None of that's there. Just their hope and goodwill, right? Is the game worth $20, and is it worth 20 hours of your time? I don't think so. The game is average. I don't have to give it a rating because this isn't a deep dive review, but if it was, I'd give it a 5. Maybe a 4. It's average, maybe a bit below average. Because what does it offer me that other games don't? What does it give me that another game of this type won't give me? An Asian setting? Okay, great. Whoop-de-doo, I'll get right on that. But it's a game where you play as a god? Yeah, where's that at? Where's the aspects of that in your game? Because I tried it and it ain't there. Look, it's okay. It's not great, and it's not terrible. You know, it's just average. If you're desperate for a new city builder game, then this will work for you. But if you're not, and you're just expecting a brand new game to obsess over or pass the time away, then look elsewhere. At this stage, it's mostly just an idea, a concept that they are asking you more money for. So ask yourself if you want to spend $20 on something you might never play again because it might get lost in the sea of games you have on Steam and Early Access waiting to play, because there's a lot of them. Or if you really want to just spend $20 supporting an unfinished game. Because remember, buying an early access game is like an investment. Don't invest unless you truly believe in the product or you truly trust the developers. So if you fit in that category, sure, be my guest. Support them, have fun, I hope you enjoy it. But I personally will be getting a refund. I was bored, I was annoyed, confused, I wasn't having any fun the entire time I was playing, and I was just looking for the more content which it didn't seem to want to be giving me. And, you know, I've been saying this on my channel since it started. You gotta make the first 2 hours of your game exciting and fun. Especially if they're in early access, so that people don't play your game for an hour and a half, realize it's boring, unfinished, buggy, and broken, and they get a refund. That's exactly why. So, take my words at face value, folks. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm telling it as I feel it. I try to be brutally honest, and this is just my personal opinion. If you don't agree, that's fair. All I ask is that you keep it civil. If you have questions or concerns, anything I forgot to mention or didn't mention in the video, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try to respond as soon as I can. But that's all I got for this episode, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it or found it informative, then please support my channel with a like, a subscribe, hitting that bell, or leaving me a comment. Thanks again for watching, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.